And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. With me, I have Quentin Bennett with me from Severe Comics. Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. Quentin Bennett here from Severe Comics.
And tonight we are reviewing the 2009 film, The Collector. This is actually part of our Scream on Screen horror movie reviews that we've been doing for this past month. We did the Halloween Kills spoiler review. You can find that wherever you guys get your major podcasts from, of course, on our YouTube channel at Movie Lovers Unite. So, Quinn, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate you taking the time out of your night to review this movie. I know this is one of your favorite ones as well as mine.
Oh yes, the collector and the collector is a great, probably one of the great horror films, and it's done by the very same guy that did the Saw movies too.
Yep. It's matter of fact, it's actually written by Marcus Dunstan and Patrick Milton and
Hmm.
directed by Dunstan. The script titled The Midnight Man was one point as a prequel to the Saw franchise, but the producers opposed the idea and dismissed it. A
Yeah,
sequel to the and then there was actually a sequel called The Collection. No, and by the way, this is no relation to the Collector from the Marvel MCU movies because that would be very
no,
dark. But
not.
anyways, um, but I like the fact that this movie
Big
is
Marvel,
only
Marvel symbol that popped out of nowhere.
right, but with this film, it's very underrated. No one really talks about this
Very
film that
underrated,
much.
and
Yes,
the camera work is amazing in this movie too.
we're gonna get to the camera work
Yeah,
because there's a
let's
lot
get
of
that.
stuff that I really want to talk about with the camera work, and the camera work is just phenomenal. But this budget had a budget of $3 million, and that's a really low budget. Basically, this is like an
Wow, was
indie
it 3
film.
million?
Yeah, it was only 3 million.
Man, I thought it was a little bit more than that. I never look at the budget thing.
Well,
Dang,
get this. This is like the early 2000s. So basically,
I
what
think
the studios would do
that
is
is
this:
that
they would
is.
give them.
I think that's cheaper than Blair Witch Project.
I don't know,
Dang,
but you want to
continue.
know something. But you want to know something though? Back in the early 2000s, though, basically studios would go on ahead, and what they would do is they would give other independent art, basically other directors money to make
Yeah,
a horror film, and they would just make it low budget, like give them like maybe $3 to $6 million, and said, "Here, have your movie, have fun with it. It's
yeah,
just going to make money anyway, so it doesn't matter on what the plot details are or anything like that." Now, fast forward to today, though, we actually have better horror movies than we had back in the early 2000s, even in the early 90s and 80s as well, depending on what you have for
yeah,
horror films or what you like. But that's what they would do. They would go on ahead, hand them about $3 to $6 million, and say, "Have fun." This had only a box office opening of a 10.2 million is what it made. It didn't even really make its money back
dang,
and everything either.
that's disappointing right there.
But what I don't get is because of the fact that it has disappointing box office numbers,
Yeah,
the
it's
studios
still
went
got a
on ahead and
sequel.
made a sequel.
Yeah, it still made a sequel because if I recall right, the VHS and the DVDs were selling very well.
Yeah, that's what made, to be honest with you, in the early 2000s, DVD sales were the thing. If it didn't make that much money in the box office at the movie
Yeah.
theaters or anything like that, they can always go, well, you know what? It didn't make that much. It didn't resonate that much at
Hmm.
the box office. But you know what? It might do well with the DVDs and renting movies and stuff like that because at that
Yeah.
time we sell at video stores.
Puppet Master is a good example of that right there.
Really? What was tell me
Puppet
about
Master
Puppet Master for a minute.
was never was never put in movie theaters. It was just straight to VHS if I remember correctly. And the sales were so great, they made like tons of sequels to it and everything.
That's
But
true.
let's we're getting off
No,
topic.
no, 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 no. We're just talking about
Yeah, I know.
the budgeting and stuff like that. We're not getting off topic or anything like that. But basically, this is a simple premise. You have a married
Mhm.
couple named Larry and Gina. Warren returns home to find their power is out. They discover a large
Yeah.
trunk upstairs and are horrified by its contents. They are then attacked by an unseen assailant. But before we get into that, we actually meet this burglar slash exterminator named Orkin.
I don't think
Basically,
he was an exterminator. Uh,
I thought he was
no, no, he wasn't an exterminator. He was help with the construction and everything with the house,
right. The construction. That's
putting
right.
security in and everything.
That's right. But
But
yeah,
his name is Arkin.
Arkin, which
Yeah.
makes me. That's why I was thinking that he was actually a person that exterminates and stuff like that because of Orkin Man. But still, Arkin. But anyways, former convict Arkin Oberon works as a handyman for the Chase family. He is generally well liked by the Chases,
Oh
especially the
yeah.
youngest daughter named Hannah. After work, Arkin meets his wife, and get this: his wife actually has a dark past
Yeah. She
because she owns money to loan sharks. She owns
lots
and
of
stuff
long
like that.
sharks.
Yeah,
Yeah. She was in the middle of debating of just leaving town, and Arkin cannot let that happen because he knows that the loan sharks will come straight after her, even though she being on the run. So in
right.
order to
Because
do that, he had to make a deal with his former boss in order to save his family.
right, because she's like, well, what's the point in you running from these guys? These loan sharks are going to hunt you down anyways. So there's no, and even if you run, there's no reason to. Why do that? He goes, give me until midnight to come up with the money because I can get the money from these rich people that I've been doing this security work for. So therefore, what Orkin does is he goes back over to the place. It's late at night, and of course, the the power's cut off because and everything, and then of course he knows the angles of where to go at inside the house because he's actually laid down the security work.
Yep.
But little does he know that there's already somebody in the house already, and he happens to be a serial killer, booby trapping this whole entire thing like like
Man,
jigsaw.
and he
And
did it so fast too. You'd be like the whole in this whole movie, you would actually follow Arkin throughout the whole house, and it'd be clear for 1 second, and then he would come back later on, and it'd be booby trapped the next. And it's amazing how quickly the serial killer can get things set up like he did.
it definitely is, and also too, this is also a very fast moving movie as well. I just want to put that out there. It's only
Yeah,
clocks in at like 90 minutes, so it's a 90-minute movie, and they give you a lot within the 90 minutes to where it doesn't feel like it's a slow burn type of movie. Pretty much, you already know what you're getting whenever you get in there,
yeah,
which is something that I like. It's not a misidentification of a film or anything like that, but he winds up setting up all these traps and stuff, and of course, Arkin thinks he's by himself,
yeah,
and then I like how all of a sudden he realizes that he's not in the house by himself.
yeah,
And what he does is the camera kind of pan angles to the collector,
yeah,
and also pan angles to him at different rooms. The camera angles are just awesome because it gives you that suspense of
yeah. It's
not
like
knowing what's going to happen.
yeah, it's like watching a video game in real life. It's just you just see that camera angle goes overhead, and you see him walking to that one room, and you see the serial killer just go to the other, just walking down the hallway. Just,
You know what
and you
though?
can
It
like
actually
see,
feels like we're watching a video footage of
yeah, that
like
too.
it feels like we're watching a video surveillance, even though it's not a found footage movie, but it does have that kind of vibe of of us watching these two people interact in this house, and
Yeah,
it feels like a security footage because of the way that it's actually set up. Like you said before, the camera angle is like a top panel kind of view of the serial killer and also of Arkin, and the way it actually is, Arkin goes on ahead, goes into one part of the room, circles around where away from the serial killer. The serial killer then circles around to where Arkin once was.
yeah. It's like a perfect cat and mouse game. It's like the biggest cat and mouse you ever seen in movie history.
Most definitely, because here's the thing with this film too is it can also, to me, it feels more like a video surveillance, like I said before,
Yeah,
but also too, you know, I like how quickly he did the trapper, which that's what I'm calling him, basically, which is a Dead by Daylight OC character where he lays down bear traps. But anyways,
I was
what the collector does is he winds up making booby traps where he thinks that he heard the noise and stuff.
yeah
So Arkin's over there just creeping around right now, trying to figure out everything. Then, of course, he opens up one of the. What I like about this scene is he opens up. Arkin winds up opening up one of the chests. It happens to be a guy inside the chest.
yeah from the very beginning of the movie too.
Yeah, and he's like, "What are you doing in this chest?" He goes, "I'm the bait." So
Yeah, he's
then,
like on the bait. He, he wants to find the perfect piece for the collection. He's like, what?
it's like, what are you even talking about? But then you wind up finding out that if he likes you, he'll keep you. But if you're not going to fit in with that collection, he'll kill you.
Yeah,
Then, of course, while he's creeping around, he winds up seeing the people that he ends up doing these Arkin did security for, like his wife, like Victoria,
yeah,
it's also captured as well. Then Arkin get this though. Um, as Arkin attempts to crack the safe, a masked figure locks the door. Michael, the father, appears with several injuries, mistaking Arkin for a
yeah.
predator. He grabs a golf club. Michael action triggers a trap that incapacitates him.
And then
So right off the
decapitated,
bat,
he was dragged into the main hall where the kid, where the trapper was was able to bring him back down to the basement again. And
right,
I just love these little details throughout the whole movie. That you see the trapper like pandering to him. You like see his eyes like that. Was this me or is someone else in the house with me? Nah, it must be someone else. It must be my imagination.
right, because
Needless throughout
after
the whole
he
movie.
because here's the thing: while Arkin's doing all this, you actually see Arkin going around the house and he's examining the traps that's
Yeah,
been laid down. And then, but get this though, that kill was right before he actually starts examining the booby traps and stuff like that. So what happens after that, Arkin realizes that he's messing with a pro serial killer versus just an average serial killer too.
yeah,
Because once that whole entire deal comes, where it wraps it around Michael's feet, it drags him down the stairs,
yeah,
and Arkin is just shocked, as all could get out.
yeah.
To be
He
honest
was
with you,
very shocked, and
and
he fell into, from what I could tell, at least four booby traps throughout the whole movie.
yeah, there's like
The
a
first
total of
two,
maybe
the first
four
two
or
was
five.
the first one was the phone, of course, because he wasn't paying attention. He booby trapped the phone, got the
Yeah,
needle to the ear. Boom.
and
Yeah,
then there was also the window
yeah.
as well, where
And
if he
that's a good foreshadowing too with that window out there.
definitely. Let's talk about the
Because
window scene for a minute, and then talk about how it was foreshadowed. I'll
yeah,
let you talk about that.
yeah,
Okay, so basically, after that incident happens with the phone, with the
mhm,
receiver, he goes on ahead, throws the receiver down because he actually stuck himself in the air with the receiver, which had a needle in there. And then
yeah,
after that, he winds up breaking the window, and it winds up slamming on his fingers.
yep, yeah. The reason why it's a good foreshadowing is because you got those throughout the whole movie. You see him trying to get through the windows throughout the whole time, trying to move the wooden planks and everything, but they were on on it very hard. But but that first one he was trying to get to, that the one that trapped him in, you realize that the wood was very weak right there. That's
That's
why he
very
got it
true.
booby trapped.
That's very true. And then also too, I like how Arkin tries to go outside again to escape in the front door, and there's like four different locks that he has to go through just to try to unlock the door.
Yeah,
So
and
now
it's
he
like
has to
a
go
very
all the way back up
specific
the stairs.
logs too.
Right. Because now he has to go all the way back up the stairs again, and it's this cat and mouse game all over again. And at this point, I don't think that the collector actually knows for a fact that Arkin's even around or anything right now.
Yeah,
All he's trying to do is just capture all the other people that are going to be entering this house. But it's
yeah,
not until he meets up with his client's wife, Victoria, who is captured, and finds her in the bathtub, and of course she's gagged. And at that point, too, he's telling her not to scream. He's going to remove the gag. And then get this, even the blindfold is also booby trapped as well. So if he removes the blindfold, it could actually blind her because of the way that he has it around her eyes.
yeah.
So
It's
therefore,
so
he
messed
can't.
up.
Right. So it's like, okay, so the only thing she can pretty much do is yell.
Hmm.
So after that winds up being played out, he all of a sudden she starts screaming and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden the trapper, the collector comes back up the stairs. So then Arkin hurries up, gets out of the way, goes down the hallway, and he's examining each trap because each trap, it's if he ends up tripping it, he could die.
Yeah, like
But I like,
instant death. And he has to find that little girl, go throughout the whole house and everything to save her life because he knows that that little child is trapped in that house somewhere.
right, Hannah.
Yeah, little Hannah, poor girl.
And of course, her older daughter Jill is out, and
Yeah,
as well, because that's where we got introduced to Hannah at the very beginning, whenever she was taking a drag of Arkin's cigarette and stuff like that. But it seems like that they actually bonded a little bit.
yeah, they did a little bit. I just like his response from her for her wanting a drag of cigarettes. He's like, I will not take part in your.
Right, in your
Was it?
habit, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jill is actually out. Then you also have, of course, um, basically Hannah's trapped in there with everybody else. And so, anyways, Arkin, like I mentioned before, at that point, Arkin retreats to the basement where Michael informs him that his wife Victoria is captured as well. So that's what happens after that. He winds up going down to the basement, tells Michael that his wife's been captured, and then of course, and then Michael gives Arkin the combination to the
Safe
safe, which
and
contains a gun.
yeah,
Arkin, right,
he was trying to get in the safe for the very beginning to get that ruby gem.
right, and of course, this is also too where basically Arkin is also telling his wife Victoria, Michael's wife, telling her, "Hey, look, I need you to distract him while I open the safe up." So that's when she starts yelling, and
Yeah.
as she's yelling, he's sewing her mouth shut,
Oh man, that was.
and I'm like, "Ooh, that made me
And,
hurt."
and let's give a little moment on the detail of the serial killer too, because it's a
Yeah,
very unique look. I have to say.
it has a little. To be honest with you, he has like a little bit of a BDSM kind of look to him, mixed in with a little Trent Renzer from Nine Inch Nails kind of look as well, and you know the mask is very original, something I haven't seen before
Yeah,
or
got
used.
the soles in the
Yes,
back
Brandy, with the
area.
dull needle. Yep,
Yeah,
that's also
and
another thing.
the eyes, man, the eyes are just completely creepy to look at.
Definitely, and we'll get into the creepiness of the eyes. Even though the trapper doesn't have any dialogue flowing out,
Yeah,
just the creepiness and the eeriness of the way he looks and everything,
and the
and the
way he
way he's
moves too. He's like,
yes,
have you ever paid attention to his movements and his eyes? It's symbols of an insect in a
that's
way.
true, like a
Because
lizard or
if you
chameleon or something.
because the way his movement is, he you see him like like hold his arms like this every once in a while. He was a like bob and weave like how a praying mantis would do.
Right. I was also thinking maybe like a chameleon or a lizard as well, but that's pretty much a good interpretation of what he moves around like, though, in the way that you said it.
But
Um,
if you ever if anyone will remember this movie and the sequel to this movie, the collection, you notice he has this big admiration for insects and everything like that. He has like deep love for it.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into the insect scene because there is actually an insect scene in this movie
Yeah,
as well, which, if it wasn't for the cops showing up during that time, he would have been a goner. But we're gonna get into that in a few minutes.
yeah,
Um, but another thing too is then we of course we also see bear traps set around this whole in the dining room area, which we're wondering, okay, who's gonna be the dumbass that actually falls in the bear traps, right?
yeah.
Because Arkin's not going to
That
do it.
was
He's been smart this whole entire time, but also too, I feel bad for him because he's going around trying to save everybody, but
yeah.
everybody that he winds up trying to save winds up dying out of their own stupidity.
Oh.
Or
Let's talk about probably one of the best trap scenes in this whole movie.
okay,
The the acid glue scene
okay, I'll let you talk about
in
that one.
in the in that one room. He was he was off trying to hide from the serial killer and everything, but then he ends up getting trapped in this by this glue on the floor. Like it's like all over the floor and everything.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
like and it turns out to be acid as well because it started melting his shoes. And you see this poor cat, that very
mm-hmm.
poor cat, that's in there melting away,
And they're
just
being
laying there.
discriminated.
Yeah.
Right, that
And he
scene was very gruesome. And as
mm-hmm.
a pet owner myself, that
Yeah.
was very grotesque. That
Yeah.
made me feel bad for the cat, to be
And
honest
and
with you.
what's bad, of course he was able to get out of it because he took the shoes off and jump on the bed. But the cat was starting making a lot of noise and everything. He trying to save the cat, trying to get him off the floor, out of the glue.
Mhm.
And he of course threw the cat to the window, and that poor cat got split in half by that guillotine that was
Yeah,
put there.
the cat but at least the cat didn't feel anything by the time that he got split
I
in
hope
half.
not. But but then but then the serial killer was heard all that commotion and everything, and he was running upstairs, and Arkin like was covered his shoes, was placing books all over the place, and hide under the blankets. And the serial killer just assuming it was all the cat's noise.
Right, and then that's basically how we knew Arkin was around. It wasn't because of the fact that the wife ungagged herself, which I thought that was kind of unusual. That he didn't notice the fact that the wife was ungagged and everything. I would think that he would find out Arkin was actually the one that no, there was somebody else inside that house that did that
Well,
because her hands are tied up.
at first he thought it was that little girl, the
That's
daughter
true.
that was hiding through out the house because that's what he was assuming. But
Right.
but he didn't, and I think he was was very surprised to see Arkin in that house.
I think so too.
I think he was like blown out mad when he found out because I don't think no one ever got the best of him the whole time like that.
No, because if you think of it like this, like there's even a scene where Jill arrives home with her boyfriend
Yeah,
and they're about to have sex. They're about to get it on. And, then that's when the collector starts watching them. And like you said
yeah, that was
before, with the
creepy.
insect kind of vibe to it,
Yeah, you see his eyes aren't glowing and everything
right.
like the insect's eyes do.
Yeah, his eyes turn from being normal to having this demon like glow to him.
Yeah, it's so creepy.
It
He's like,
definitely is. And then once we see that happen, we see Arkin climbing underneath the dining room table,
yeah,
trying to get them
yeah.
so that way
He just
warn them.
went right past him too, and he didn't even notice it.
No,
Notice.
he was too
No,
occupied with
no, he looked in because he thought he saw something, but he thought it was just his imagination. He just went back to watching those two going at it.
exactly, and then of course Chad attacks him, but is killed when he's pushed into a room filled with several bear traps. So
Yeah,
Jill
that
is
was
the one who calls up 911 to try and
yeah,
get the intruder out, and of course, the collector didn't even go ahead and notice the fact that she was even calling 911 or anything like that. And
I think
the
he
thing
didn't
that,
care.
but let me just say this though, that I find that's really interesting about the sex scene in a way. It's very tense because of the fact where it's the trap is laid at, because the
Oh,
kid could have.
by the way, folks, this is a rated R film, so don't let kids watch this movie. Just
Yeah, it's
give
rated
you a
R.
heads up.
But you know, the part that this is the part that got me though
Yeah,
too.
this was a very intense scene.
The scene is very intense because of the fact where it's laid at, and of course the Chad is walking backwards and as he's trying to go down on her and doing all everything else, and you're wondering, okay, is this kid going to kill his own self, or how is this going to be played out? And then of course, that's when of course Jill winds up coming to her senses, and she sees the collector there,
It is.
and that's when he stops doing what they stop fooling around, and then after that one's up happening, that's when Chad starts running towards him, and then that's when the
Yeah.
collector goes on ahead, stabs him with a knife through his hand,
Yep.
and then after that happens, the collector pushes Chad into the bear traps,
I say he
and
activate that one trap where it cuts his fingers off,
yep,
and he was like in complete stun mode.
yeah, he was
And
stunned,
that
and
happened.
then after that happened, it the bear trap winds up getting his leg and then his other
Yep.
leg, and then he starts falling backwards,
Yeah, of course
and
his body and time. Mm.
that was insane.
Yeah, that one bear tried to like crush his head in.
Michael
Man.
Jackson thriller vibe. Brenny Mullins said, but yeah, this that scene was very graphic. But I have to say, I feel bad for Chad because I think he suffered the most.
Yeah. Um,
Well, the reason why I say that is because of the things that happens to Jill later on, because her death wasn't as quick. Well,
well,
well, her death
I
was
guess he
very
did suffer the
quick.
most because he got blue balls at the end of the night.
Speaking of balls, by the way, guess what? It's time
Fuck
for
you.
me to do Manscaped. I'm glad that you asked what Manscaped is. You get 20% off promo code of Movie Lovers Unite using Manscaped. And here's the thing, guys. Support for this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming. Champions of the world, Manscaped offers precision and also too engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their fourth generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. This is what Dracula should have used back in the day. Back in the day they couldn't use electricity or anything like that. But if he was able to, this would be the thing to do the job. Then again, it might just regenerate down in the downstairs area. But the Lawnmower 4.0, you heard that right. The 4.0 joined over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the exclusive offer for you: 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code Movie Lovers Unite at manscaped.com. Now, get this. Imagine Dracula shaving with a sleek, well designed, and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your favorite time in the bathroom. He could have had a great time in the bathroom, shaving his balls and everything. And guess what? I'm actually one of the few people who were lucky enough to get the 4.0, and I'm just blown away by the performance, the craftsmanship and detail of the 4.0 are next level. And then also too, let me just say this: I've used it, and also too, you don't want to go on ahead and there was this one time where I nicked my balls. You don't want to nick your balls or anything like that with a bad razor or anything like that. Getting the Manscaped 4.0 is just a great thing to have, because Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibly comfortable grooming experience. The fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. That's right. It gives me the confidence to say, you know what? I did a great job trimming my boys and everything and shaving my boys. I'm ready to go out there and do what I need to do. The upgrade trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage on a travel lock, which is good. It gives you the ability to turn the 4000 LED spotlight on and off when needed in a more precise shape, because hey, you need to go on ahead and have a light on to show the hard to reach places in your groin area and stuff like that because you never knew what you had before until you actually shaved in the hard to reach areas. I looked like Chewbacca by the time that I was done in those hard to reach areas. But anyways, then of course, the Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard links with sizes 1 through 4. That I mentioned wireless charging. The new wireless charging system uses electronic magnetic induction, which can help battery last longer. Man, if you've been shaving this with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong because no person wants to end up with any kind of hair in their mouth when they're going down in the downstairs area is just nasty. No girl wants to go on ahead and do that. Trust me, it's time to get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code Movie Lovers Unite at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. And that's where you guys can go ahead and get Manscaped.
Nailed it.
And that's what she said. So let's go on ahead and continue on our journey with the collector.
Okay, I'm getting
Brandy
lightheaded.
said, "Go Brazilian." She also says, "Wax that stuff." Yep, like Miyagi style, wax on, wax off. Great to smooth your balls. Anyways, so
I can't believe that played off so well.
it does. It balances off really well, doesn't it? Especially while searching Hannah, he finds a truck containing a bloody Larry. Larry explains that the masked man is a collector of people. He only collects one person in a household, like we said before, and kills everyone else. Horrified, Arkin flees while the collector locks Larry back in the
Yeah.
trunk. And back in the basement, Arkin discovers Michael is dead. He frees Victoria, who had been tortured, as they make their way out of the basement. Victoria sees Michael's corpse, panics, and alerts the collector, who stabs her several times.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I forgot to mention was how Victoria dies.
Oh yeah.
And I had that in my notes. I had to backtrack a little bit. So I'm sorry for people who were distracted by my Manscaped ad. I had to go ahead and back over a little bit. But
It's okay.
but anyways, Arkin prepares the trap. But let's talk
At
about
least
this
we're
though.
well
Okay?
trimmed. That's all that matters.
But exactly. So, anyways, Jill manages to make a call before she gets captured to 911, and Arkin frees Jill, but she doesn't trust him and reaches for a pair of scissors, which is not good, only to be killed by the trapper. Arkin escapes the house alone, but sees. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah, that scene was I should say that probably one of the most amazing death scenes I've seen in movie. Because
Yeah,
he was
okay, let's talk about that.
nailed to the wall, basically.
Well, it's actually the projecting screen.
Yeah,
It's like a hard
it was
surface
a
projector screen.
but there was nails behind
Yeah.
it. So when she got nailed to that, then the video stopped playing about of their childhood, and that was
Right.
very
And you know
tragic right
what
there.
though about that scene though is this is the fact that with this scene and everything, I have to say at least her death was quick compared to her boyfriend. Her boyfriend suffered the most.
Yeah, the boyfriend, the mom, and the dad suffer the most. The whole movie.
And this is what Brandy says too. So a blood murder scene, or is it just manscaping?
It's manscaping gone wrong, okay?
Especially when she grabs the scissors to try and cut Arkin. For crying out loud, the guy was just trying to do you a service, and you wind up wanting to stab him with.
He's trying to help. He's just misled, okay?
Exactly. She said, "You know what, Brandy? I was thinking the same thing. That's what she said. Nailed it. Yep." But yes, so after that winds up happening, this is the scene that I feel like you could tell that Arkin wanted to get out of the house and everything. He winds up climbing out of the window and runs out the house. And, at first I'm thinking, okay, you're just a coward for running out of the house because, there's Hannah's still in there for starters, but he can't find her. So I'm guessing he's thinking that she's dead, which to me is not really cowardly. It's just him thinking on a
Yeah,
survival tactics in a way. But at the same time, as he's looking back at the house, he sees her shadow in the window. Then he
yeah,
also sees the trapper in another room,
yeah. The very
and
downstairs rooms.
yeah. So then that's when Arkin decides, hey, look, I need to get in back inside this house. So what he does is he goes back into the window trying to save her, and he winds up finding Hannah. And then what he does is he winds up telling her, "Do not step on the floor. I'm going to let you take that part."
Yeah, he said he said, "So carry me, don't be on the floor." And as they were making their way making their way downstairs, and the killer, I think it, let me try to remember where this went.
Okay. Brady Mullen says, "Run, bitch, run! He's behind you."
My mind's getting stuck in this
It's okay.
man's no
But
wheel.
basically, what winds up happening is this: basically, the floor I think is what, acid, I think, or what? I can't
No, it was.
remember.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was hooks.
That's right. It was okay. It was the
Yeah, that's right.
hooks.
He went into the hooks and everything, and the kid, that girl was. I think it was. I think she saw the body of her sister, and she screamed, and the serial killer was chasing after her.
Right. And don't forget, inside that room with the hooks, Arkin told her just to get down and everything too,
Yeah,
because so way she doesn't get hooked or anything like that. And of course, he's trying
and
to unhook himself and stuff
and
like
that's
that.
yeah. And as the serial killer was chasing her down, that's when he discovered Arkin was in the house too.
Right.
And
And
boy, he was mad.
he was pissed because
Yeah, he
now,
didn't he never. I don't think he never saw that coming because they were like going to other rooms and everything, and the trapper was pounding doors and everything. He was so mad.
yeah, he was going through from room to room. Not only that, but after that winds up happening, uses the dead body of Michael to try
Yeah,
and bang open the door that Arkin and
oh
his
man,
and of course Hannah
that was
have, because
that was
now
very
they're trying to
brutal.
set a trap up for the collector. So
Yeah.
what she has in her room is a goldfish tank, or a tank
Mhm.
for the fish. So he tells her to get on top of the desk so that way she doesn't get electrocuted. So therefore, while he's used now, this is not the way to get ahead in life, but he's using the father's head as a way to bang open
No, it wasn't the father's head. It was actually
that from the
the guy
beginning.
that was in
Yeah,
the box.
Larry. It was
Yeah,
Larry's head.
poor Larry. Man, Larry just had it.
Yep. But yeah, great foreplay. Oh my god.
Man, boy,
Uh, but
not
yeah,
Larry.
he was using Larry's head as a way to bang open the
Try and
door.
manscape, Larry.
I don't know. I don't think Manscaped would actually help with that, because that's not a way to get ahead in life, especially when the
Well,
collector's over there.
that's
There's
why he was using a doorknob because he was trying to help with manscape. Like I said, he's trying to do manscape, but he's being misled.
very misleading. I gotta say that. And then, of course, the trapper winds up getting in there after he uses Harry's lead head. And then um, after that winds up happening, because the trapper's already ahead of them in a way, because he's like, okay, well, they're going to probably set up a trap for me anyway. So what he does
Yeah,
is he uses Larry, throws Larry into the room,
yeah,
and they electric shock
killed
Larry instead of
Larry.
the trapper.
Yeah, they finally killed Larry after all that.
Well, Larry's
Poor
been
Larry.
dead.
No,
It's,
he was still alive.
I thought he was dead. I
No,
mean,
no, he was still alive. He, that the electric shock finally killed him because he was using him as a battering ram for opening the door, and then he was using. Then they able to lock the door behind him, and then he was using his head to pound on the doorknob.
he got hit by the door. Okay,
Man,
but
poor Larry.
that's not the way.
that
That's not the way I would want to go out. I'll tell you that.
was
Then
gruesome.
Yeah, definitely gruesome. And then after that, we wind up getting a police officer who responds to Jill's 911 call and is killed by the collector's dog. Now,
Man,
the dogs are something to deal with.
yeah, the dog. Yeah, that police a police officer was killed by the dog, and that dog was in at that very beginning too. And that's when Alkin was realizing something was kind of off when he first arrived at the house too.
Yeah, and then after kills the police officer with the dog,
Yeah,
after that winds up happening, the collector's dog with the flaming bucket and trapper the collector and one of his own traps. So
yeah,
after killing the collector's dog with a flaming bucket and trapping the collector, yeah, like I said,
yeah, yeah. The collector was using a shotgun too because he was getting quite annoyed about Alkin now.
yeah. And then after that one, well, also too, let's go rewind a little bit here because remember before the sirens, before the cops, he had Arkin tied up
Yeah,
and everything. And then Arkin, he was going after Hannah, and then Arkin goes, "Really? That's all you got?" And he starts cussing at him and everything
calling him
else,
names.
and then this is what winds up happening. Then this is what we were talking about before with the insects. He
Yeah.
cuts open Arkin's stomach, and
Mm.
then he goes ahead and puts the jar of insects, near where
Yeah,
he
it
opened him
was
up, and
full
then
of
starts
cockroaches.
lighting it.
Yeah, he was trying to do the ancient medieval method of torture by scaring animals into the human body. But little does he know it would have worked better with rats.
Yep. Hey, some more foreplay. That's what Brandy Mullins said. Yeah, but this is the definitely. You know what? Some sex you want, some sex you don't want. You don't want that. You
Hey,
know? But
he's being misled. Okay, he's trying to do manscaping, but he's using roaches and fire.
then after that,
He's misled.
winds up right. And then the scene, the person Arkin runs into the road to get their attention and gets hit by one of the cars. He sees Hannah carried away by the police. He tells the police that the collector was an exterminator working at the Chase house. The explosives
Yeah,
did
yeah, in
right,
one of the fights, he was able to unmask him before he was captured by the trapper.
right. And then after that winds up happening, then the explosives detonate and destroy the house, but the collector gets away unharmed while Arkin is being taken to the hospital. The collector ambushes the ambulance and kills everyone except Arkin, who he kidnaps. In a post-credit scene, the collector watches film slides on the trunk containing Arkin, who threatens to kill him.
Yeah, yeah, it was a good way to end the movie for the sequel too.
Right, and this is what I have to say though too about how we were talking about the filming, right? On the way it
Hmm.
was filmed.
Yeah,
So here's the thing: this movie, and I thought that this felt more like a what's the word I'm thinking of that came out like a grindhouse kind of film,
yeah, it
but
does
it
feel like that.
right, it definitely feels like that. And here's the thing: basically on the opening day, the film opened at in 1,325 theaters, grossing $1,325,000. The film has grossed $7,712,114. So
That's impressive.
it's impressive, but not enough to actually
Yeah,
have a chance to make a sequel out of it. But still,
yeah, but it still made a sequel. And speaking of sequels, do you after the movie Collection, do you think there's more than one collector?
that's an interesting idea. That I mean, I
Because
could see it
because
going the way that Jigsaw went with Saw.
well, I think way I've been watching these two movies, I think there was someone. I think there's more to it because someone had to teach them these things.
Right. I mean, don't get me
It
wrong. I
can't just.
mean,
I mean, look how the house was built, and look how his the building was built in the collection.
well, also too,
That,
the opening scene at the second film opens up in a club.
Yeah.
and he locks them inside the club and has that those spikes that just you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, this huge spike drop and just kills and slaughters everybody inside that
Hmm.
club. That was a great way to open that horror movie. To be honest with
Yeah.
you, they
I mean,
definitely delivered on the gory aspect.
yeah. The way I've seen it, I think there is more than one collector in this universe.
Mm. But get this though, in the production, the collector was shot in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the spring of
Hmm.
2008, over 19 days. It used 16 millimeter film stock, so that's why it feels has that little authentic
Yeah.
kind of feel to it of a grindhouse kind of feature that we talked about, which is something I appreciated with this film because I feel like they needed to have that kind of flavor to it.
Yeah.
Um,
It was a good flavor movie.
um, the final
Speaking
scene
of flavor, let's talk about manscaping.
well, get this though, man. The final scene featured the van in the rain was part of a reshoot in Los Angeles in Griffin Park.
Was it now?
When Destin announced his production team, he wanted to direct. He set off to make a sizzle reel, a prolonged trailer of the proposed film. He reunited with many of his friends from Feast. His first writing credit and employed John Gillinger as his cinematographer and used actors Clu Gallagher to play Roy and Tom Gallagher as Arkin. It was this reel that was used to sell the pitch to Dimension Films.
Yeah. He was a good choice to play as Ogden because he put a lot of emotion throughout the whole movie.
Most definitely. His character is not very one dimensional at all if you think about it. Because, yeah, he can be a selfish butthole or douchebag,
Well, you have
but
to. Well, with his type of job, yeah, you got to be a selfish butthole.
right. But I like how
speaking of
you have
speaking of buttholes, talk about manscaping.
no, we're done. We're done with Manscaped. We're done with it
Never.
right now. But if you think of it like this though, man, like I like how they use this film and it's a home invasion mixed in with a serial killer. This was a good original idea, something that we
Yeah.
haven't seen before. Now, I would like to see a home invasion during an alien invasion.
Home invasion, home alien invasion. Hmm.
but
Maybe he
but
was an
still,
alien the whole time. We just didn't
no,
know it.
no. But I'm just saying, I would like to see that kind of movie where like there's an alien invasion during a home invasion. I think that would be
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, I think that's gonna be it as far as this review goes, but also too, I want to talk about one last thing. The film was theoretically released in July 31st, 2009 in the United States and on DVD on April 6th, 2010. A rental version was made available February 12th, 2010 through Blockbuster Video exclusive line. The
good
DVD
time.
includes two deleted scenes and also an alternative ending, which is Arkin leaving after seeing Hannah in the window, thus cutting off the remaining 25 minutes of the film.
Ah, yeah, that would have been a very douchebag move at the end, like if it's stuff like that.
Alien Speaking of which, aliens can go on ahead and get 20% off plus free shipping and handling if they go on ahead and use the promo code Movie Lovers Unite.
Hey,
So,
don't make promises you can't make. We get sued,
well, no, that's actually the deal.
and
Yeah.
you don't know how much money these aliens.
Hey, if they buy every single one of my Manscaped stuff, that's okay with me because of the fact that I get to keep them for a longer period of time. Because I want to be able to use Manscaped as longer as I can. So, as my sponsor. So,
The aliens gonna be like, we don't even have hair down there.
it's like, why do we need these for? Why do humans use this?
We don't even have intercourse. We just look at each other.
Oh my god. Anyways, with that being said, Quentin, where can everybody follow you at?
Y'all can follow me on www.severecomics.com, and you can read all my comics for $6 a year. And you can also follow and subscribe to me on my YouTube channel called Severe Comics. would y'all be able to read my audiobooks? Audiobooks like Drifter and For a Little Disturbance, and pretty soon more.
All right. And with that being said, guys, you guys can go on ahead and follow me at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Night on Facebook. Of course, on the same brand name on Instagram and on Pinterest as well. Then, of course, if you guys want an audio only podcast episode of our episodes that we do here at Movie Lovers Night, you can get that wherever you guys get your major podcasts from. Another thing is, too, if you're someone that loves listening to podcasts or you're a podcaster yourself, go on ahead and download the Good Pods app. The Good Pods app is like pretty much, if you think about it, it's like social media for podcasters. You get to rate individual episodes, and also too, it also helps out with the ranking system on Good Pods. But if you still want to use iTunes, that's perfectly fine. On their podcast app and everything, that's perfectly fine as well. Rate us over there. It helps out with the ranking thing. Go ahead and rate us. Tell us what you think about us and everything. But of course, guys, go on ahead and follow me on TikTok at Movie Lovers Unit 0. That's where you guys can go ahead and follow me. So I do a lot of promo stuff over there. And then, of course, you guys can go on ahead and go to gofundme.com/movie lovers unite. And that's where you guys can go on ahead and donate $5 to $10 to the show if you guys want to. Also, too, we also teamed up with Two Blur Girls podcast with Cincy, and a matter of fact, all proceeds go over to Children's of St Jude's Hospital. So go ahead, get yourself a Cincy through Cincy, and all proceeds go over to the Children of St Jude's Hospital. Then, of course, you guys can also go on ahead, reach out to me at movieloversunite@gmail.com if you're a sponsor or would like to be on the show. Then, of course, go on Twitter and go over to Movie Lovers Unit over there on Twitter, and that's everywhere that you can reach me at on all social medias. And also, too, on November 23rd, I have a little bit of a special announcement that I'm going to be making before then, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. All I'm going to tell you that it's related to the Shawshank Redemption, and I'm going to be doing teasers throughout the whole entire rest of this month, and also through November a little bit. But I think I dropped a little bit of a teaser today, but I'm going to have, matter of fact, I might just go ahead and tell you who it is. I'm going to actually have Brent Scopa from, there's actually a director, well, he was actually the casting director for Shawshank Redemption. I'm going to have him on here on November 23rd for a very special interview. And matter of fact, we're supposed to be giving away some stuff, so go on ahead and check us out over there and everything on November 23rd, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. Then, of course, don't forget to like, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that little bell in the bottom right-hand corner to allow you guys to know when we have something new dropping. We just released our new Neighbors Watching Trailers review of Ambulance, which is the new Michael Bay movie. So go on ahead, check that out on our YouTube channel. And always, until next time, thank you, Quentin, for joining me for tonight. I do appreciate it. As
Good to be here.
always, it's always a pleasure to have you. And thank you, Brandy Mullins, for your comments and the live chat. I do appreciate it so much, even though
And
that
thank you, Manscaping, for us to have some good jokes.
exactly. It's always good to be a part of friends and everything, and being able to just joke around, talk about movies and stuff like that. So I do appreciate that. And with that being said, guys, always until next time, it's been real. It's been fun. I can't wait to do this again. And bye bye.